Hello, welcome to Painting with Jasmine Rempel Art. I'm Jasmine and today I'm wanting to paint some stones balancing on each other. I'm aiming to have it look something like this. I'm wanting to do it with some earth tones. I have another video where I did stones balancing, and that was with some blue grays that you could look up if you want. I have another here with some earth tones. So these will be my inspirations for today. I have a number of supplies out and ready to go. As I'm working, I'll let you know what supplies I'm using. First of all, I need to sketch out the stones, and to do that, I'm just going to start at the bottom here and create an oval. And then I'll do another one on top. And another. These will be my general outlines for this stone tower, stone tower. I'm not purposely wanting it to be an anukshuk, just simply balancing stones. So if you are working along with me, just do the stones as intuitively as you like. You can see that I'm going over and over again as I just let my intuition guide me for each one. So there's just 6 here. Let's see, on this one I had 7. And so I might just add a little bitty one at the top here. There we go. That will fill the whole card. I'm planning to have a cast shadow off one of the sides. And then of course my signature. So that'll fill in the space nicely. All right. Well, there's the sketch. I think what I'm going to do now is actually rub off a bit of that graphite. When I'm finished the painting, I also go in with my kneadable eraser and erase lots of the lines, so I can leave these there for now. I'm just thinking, does this actually look balanced? I think so. I can see that it's tending to go this way, but then these two are going to the right. There we go. Okay. I can see that I have a little bit of paint left over in my palette, so I'm just getting a tissue and I'm just going to clean that up. I'm using Daniel Smith paints today. I got this palette for my birthday in December, and I'm enjoying trying out the colors. I've typically been a Winsor Newton girl, and I'm enjoying experimenting with new colors. So I'm reaching now for my number 6 round brush. This is the one I'll use for the most part. And I'm going to start with this burnt sienna. You can see on my left that I have a variety of rocks to inspire me to know that it's okay to use nice, bright earth tone reds. I'm going to add a mixture of I'm going to add some Jayne's gray to this burnt sienna, and I will use this. All right. So I'm going to use the wet on wet effect. So I'm going to get this rock at the bottom nice and wet. I'm just looking for the sheen of the water to help me know where I've placed water and where I still need to place water. reaching for my pigment color, and I'll just drop that into the water and watch it beautifully bleed out. It's a beautiful sienna brown. I'll clean my brush and reach in a little more of the burnt sienna. And again, clean a little more of that gray. Mix up another mixture. This one's a little darker, and I'll just put this into the bottom. This is Strathmore watercolor paper. It's actually a Strathmore watercolor card. It's a 5x7, 140-pound cold pressed. I use these a lot. I make a lot of art cards. I make them because they're simple, and of course people really appreciate them. They're nice little tokens to give to people. All right, there we go. I'll leave that like that for now. And I'm reaching now into this brown ochre. Actually, I'm feeling like I'd like to make a line on my base. So I've got my rigger brush here, or my liner brush. I've got it wet, and now I'll take off some of that dampness. And I'm just going to run this along the rock, just creating a white line. I work on a board so that I can turn it as needed to help me with my painting. I keep cleaning off the rigger brush and then drying it. And as I run it along the pigment, what's happening is this mostly damp brush is picking up the pigment that I have in the rock and leaving behind this nice white line. Branch off this white line to another. I've seen so many rocks that have white lines laced through them. Just adding some interest here by doing this. There we go. I can see I have a bit of a bloom here where this side of the rock dried and the center was still wet, and when they met, the dry with the wet created a little bit of a hard edge. At this moment, I'm okay with this. I can go in and soften the edge later if it was bothering me. All right, let's move up to another rock. I put some brown ochre, as I mentioned. And again, I'm going to add the Jayne's gray. Ooh, that is dark. That's okay. It'll be a nice contrast. All right, because this is wet, I'm going to jump up to this one here and put water in the stone. Good. Reach into this nice gray. Let that bleed out. And I find I need to turn. It's quite wet here, so I'm just picking up some of that extra water, adding that pigment. I'm going to get this nice crackled effect here, and I'll leave that white area just to add some interest to the rock. And I'll just tap in some dots to add a bit of texture as well. I'm reaching into the Jayne's Grey, and I'm going to tap a bit of that at the very base because this is more of a shadow area. And I will do the same up here. Good. All right, and there we go. Just admiring my work and deciding what's next. I'll move up to another rock. I think I'll go into the Indian red. It's a really beautiful, beautiful earth tone red. It can be very strong, so I'm going to neutralize it with this gray. Reaching for a smaller brush now. This is a number 4 round brush. These are silver black velvet brushes. And I'll get this little area wet. I'll work on a new pebble. You did just see me do that. I put a dirty brush right into the pigment. I confess that sometimes I have some bad habits, but so far it hasn't really hurt me. If I want a really clean palette, I just need to clean off the top with some water. The one thing I'm realizing I don't have right here is some saran wrap. I'm wanting that to add extra texture, but I will leave that for now. And I think right here I'm going to apply some kosher salt into this rock. I choose kosher salt instead of table salt simply because I like the big granular effect. Either salt would work well. If you want to see a video about experimenting with salts, there is one on my channel, and a lot of people seem to have appreciated it. It's got a fair bit of views, and it's fun to experiment with different salts. I use table salt, kosher salt, pickling salt, sea salt. I think that's it. Oh, and another salt that I purchased in Hawaii that we weren't able to figure out exactly the name of it. All right, I'm going to take a pause and let these dry and go and get my saran wrap. All right, that is dry and I have what I need now. I think I'll jump right into this rock. I haven't lifted off the salt yet in the one above, but I will towards the end. All right, I'm going to go back into the burnt sienna mixture, make a little more with the panes. Oh, this isn't panes, this is Jayne's Grey. All right. Now I'm wanting to get a little more of that Jayne's gray and tap it into the bottom and into here. It's pretty much quite dry up here already, so a little trickier to tap it in there, but and maybe add some speckled effects. Throughout. If my camera is moving, it's because as I tap the table, the camera's attached to the table, so I apologize for a little wiggly effect if you're getting that. Hopefully you're not. All right. Reach in for my bigger brush. Going back into this color, the burnt sienna. Put a bunch right here. This is just water, obviously. I said put a bunch right here, but I am not quite yet going to put a bunch of burnt sienna here. Okay, now I am. But I think I need more. Just mixing up what I'm comfortable with. Good. Let that spread, fill out. I like stones a lot. So does my husband. For our wedding, we actually had stones on our centerpiece, on centerpieces of the table, beach stones that we had collected from the beach. And we got rock candy to give to our guests. We both, he's actually even more of a rock lover than I am. But when we go on holiday, we often pick a beach area, and he is always collecting stones. We have stones all over our house. They're pretty. I think of them as humble jewels, nature's humble jewels. And as an artist, I definitely appreciate their beauty and uniqueness. Okay, I'm crinkling up saran wrap here. I cut myself a little piece. I'm crinkling it up. I'm just placing it on top of this stone, pressing it down. And I'm just going to let that dry a bit, like that. I feel like I need a darker, mostly just gray. I'm going to do that. Drawing attention away from these big rocks. And this time I'm going to go wet on dry. Just paint in that nice solid gray color. I feel like that rocks maybe too rounded. So I'm just going to draw with my brush. There we go. Go into that dark gray again and just put some on the base. Super. And I think I'll do a little bit of line work in it. Reaching for my rigger as I did down here. Nice. Very satisfying to get these white lines. You need to do it when the pigment is wet in order for it to be easy. It is definitely possible to do when it's not wet. It just takes a little more rubbing. A little tiny bit of a different technique. When it's wet, it lifts off very nicely. I like that. Let's lift off the saran wrap, see what we have. Ooh, that is just stunning. The nice thing about the saran wrap is you can't predict what you're going to get. And I am lifting off a little bit right now with a dry or a damp brush so that these marks aren't quite as exaggerated. But I'm pleased with that. It's fun, interesting. Makes it look like the rock has ridges. Okay, there's one rock left. And the question is, what color should it be? Well, at this point I don't want to introduce a new color. I want to stick with some I've already have. So I think I'll just reach into this one here, which was the brown ochre. And I'll do a nice light brown ochre one. And again, just wet on, dry. I think I have my number 6. Normally for little things I would grab a number 4, but that's okay. These brushes have lovely small, lovely fine tips, so I can just use the tip of the brush to draw this rock on. It's just hanging on. I haven't really decided which side my light's coming from, but I think I did draw the shadow down below on the left-hand side, so I'll fill in more pigment here. And I think I'll actually use my number 4 and lift off a portion, and just to give it a nice little highlight there. All right, now I have this sponge and I'm going to use it just to tap on maybe to this one because it's already got some speckles, a few more speckles. Payne's Gray. That looks like the burnt sienna mixture, so I'll put that in here. I'm just painting the little pokey parts. Just tap in the pokey parts. There we go. I like that. And we're going to need to get some shadow in there. So let's do that. Let's do a shadow here. That's the straight Jaynes. But I think I will add a little bit of the, oops, wrong color, a little bit of the Indian red to it because I don't have the Indian red anywhere else. Oops, same thing, I could have just used that. So it will kind of bring a little more unity in there. Not quite dark. Okay, here goes. Oops, drip of water. Here it doesn't go. Okay. I want it quite dilute so it runs nicely. And there we go. Cleaning off my brush and running a brush along here that just has water on it to soften this edge and pull the shadow out a little. Good. All right, we need some shadows here, here, and here. Simple as that. Just picking up grays. Not being super fussy about which ones. Running out of grays, so I can't be fussy. Okay, lift off that salt. Little cast shadows. Oh, that was really wet. Lifting that off. I'll try again. Take two. And there we go. Okay. I'm going to sign this. JR for Jasmine Rimple. And there's some balancing rocks and earth tones, grays. I'm going to pause the show and blow dry this, and particularly blow dry these edges. I want to heat them up so that they peel without ripping my paper. All right, that's dry. Run my kneadable eraser over all the pencil. And peel off the tape. And there we go. A little rock sculpture indicating balance. May you find balance in your January or whatever season you're in. May you find balance in your life. I know for me that comes through making time to create, so I hope you made time to create today. And if you did, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see a picture of what you've made. You can find me on Instagram, Jasmine Rempel Art, or send me a message to my Facebook, Jasmine Rempel. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel or simply put like on the video. Happy creating. Bye for now.